There's something nobody tells you about getting older on a motorcycle. It's not that you slow down. It's not that you lose your edge. It's not even that you get scared. It's that somewhere along the way you stop needing the noise. You stop needing the approval. You stop needing to prove you belong. And you realize the best rides you've ever taken were the ones where nobody else was watching. Today, I'm going to tell you why older riders choose solitude. And if you're under 40, this might piss you off. But if you're over 50, you're about to nod your head the entire time. Look, I've been riding for over 30 years now. I've done the group rides, I've done the bike nights, I've done the cross-country rallies with 20 guys all wearing matching vests. And you know what I learned? Most of that wasn't about riding. It was about being seen riding. There's a difference. When you're young, motorcycling is social. It's about belonging to something. You want people to know you ride. You want the wave from other riders. You want the nod of approval at the gas station. But somewhere in your 40s or 50s, something shifts. You stop caring if anyone knows you ride. You stop caring if your bike is the loudest or the shiniest. You stop caring if anyone thinks you're cool. Because you finally figured out what motorcycling is actually about. And it has nothing to do with anyone else. Here's what society doesn't understand about guys like us. We're not loners because we're antisocial. We're not riding alone because we don't have friends. We're not avoiding groups because we're too good for them. We ride alone because that's where we find clarity. See, modern life is exhausting. Everyone wants something from you. Your boss wants productivity. Your wife wants attention. Your kids want your time. Your friends want you to show up to things you don't care about. And don't even get me started on social media. Everyone's performing. Everyone's pretending their life is perfect. Everyone's posting photos of things they didn't actually enjoy doing, just so other people think they're living well. It's exhausting. But when you're on a bike, alone, with nothing but the road ahead and the engine between your legs, all that noise disappears. There's no one to perform for, no one to impress, no one judging your line through a corner or whether you're going fast enough. It's just you and the machine and the road. And that, my friends, is freedom. Real freedom. Not the kind you see in Harley commercials. The kind you actually feel. Let me tell you about the last big group ride I went on. It was about 5 years ago. 23 bikes. We were supposed to do a loop through the mountains. Beautiful roads, perfect weather. Should have been amazing. But by mile 50, I was done. Why? Because group rides aren't about riding. They're about managing egos. There's always that one guy who thinks he's Valentino Rossi, riding 10 miles an hour over his skill level, making everyone behind him nervous. There's always the guy who wants to stop every 30 minutes to take photos for Instagram. There's always the guy who's mad because the pace isn't fast enough, or too fast, or someone didn't hold their formation right. And by the end of it, you've spent more time worrying about the group than actually enjoying the ride. Now, I'm not saying group rides are bad. If you enjoy them, great, keep doing them. But for a lot of older riders, we've done that. We've played that game, and we realized it's not what we're looking for anymore. We don't need to prove we can keep up. We don't need to show off our new exhaust. We don't need to stop at the same burger joint so everyone can park in a neat little row and take pictures. We just want to ride. And when you ride alone, you can ride at your own pace. You can stop when you want. You can take that side road that looks interesting without having to radio 15 guys to follow you. You can think. And thinking, it turns out, is one of the most valuable things you can do on a motorcycle. Now, before I tell you what actually happens in your brain when you ride alone, because there's actual science behind this, I need to talk about something that's been on my mind lately. Privacy. Not just on the road, but online. Because here's the thing. The same people who don't understand why you ride alone are the same people tracking everything you do online. And if you care about freedom on the road, you should care about freedom online too. Let me explain. Look, I know this seems like a left turn, but stay with me. You ride a motorcycle because you value independence. You don't want someone telling you where to go or how fast to ride. That's the same reason you need a VPN. Right now, your internet service provider is logging every website you visit, every video you watch, every search you make. They're selling that data, and in some cases, they're slowing down your connection based on what you're doing. That's not freedom, that's surveillance. But here's the thing. You can stop it, right now. I've been using NordVPN for over a year, and it's changed how I use the internet. It encrypts all your traffic, hides your IP address, makes it impossible for ISPs, hackers, or even the government to see what you're doing online. You want to research bikes? Look up routes? Watch riding videos from other countries? NordVPN makes it invisible. And if you're ever using public Wi-Fi at a coffee shop or hotel, your data is completely exposed without a VPN. Anyone on that network can see your passwords, banking info, everything. NordVPN fixes that. Right now, if you click the link in my description, you'll get 58% off. You'll pay $5 a month. That's less than a tank of gas. And if you value your privacy, which I'm guessing you do if you're watching this video, it's a no-brainer. Links in the description. Now, let's get back to why solitude makes you a better rider. Mental benefits. Scientific, credible, valuable. Here's something most people don't talk about. Riding a motorcycle alone is one of the best things you can do for your mental health. And I'm not talking about some feel-good nonsense. I'm talking about actual, measurable benefits. When you ride alone, your brain enters what's called a flow state. It's the same state athletes and artists get into when they're performing at their best. Your mind is focused, but not tense. You're aware, but not anxious. You're engaged, but not overwhelmed. Everything else fades away. You're not thinking about work. You're not worrying about bills. You're not replaying that argument you had with your wife last week. You're just riding. And in that state, your brain does something incredible. It starts solving problems. Not in a forced way, but naturally. You'll be cruising down a 2-lane highway, and suddenly the answer to something you've been wrestling with for weeks just appears in your head. It's not magic. It's just that your brain finally has space to think without distractions. But there's more. Riding alone forces you to be present. You can't zone out. You can't check your phone. You can't have a conversation. You have to pay attention. And in a world where everyone's distracted all the time, that level of focus is rare. It's valuable, and it's addictive once you experience it. Studies have shown that activities requiring intense focus, like riding a motorcycle, reduce stress, improve mood, and even slow cognitive decline as you age. So when people ask me why I ride alone, I tell them the truth. Because it makes me sharper, calmer, more centered. And at my age, that's worth more than any group ride photo. Section 3. No validation needed. Wisdom, liberation, age perspective. Let me tell you something about getting older. You stop needing people to agree with you. When you're young, you need validation. You need people to tell you you're good at something. You need approval. That's normal. That's how you figure out who you are. But by the time you hit your 50s or 60s, you've already figured that out. You know who you are. You know what you're good at. You know what you're not good at. And you've stopped caring if anyone else agrees. Society doesn't understand that. Society thinks if you're alone, you're lonely. If you're not in a group, you don't belong. But that's not true for older riders. We've already played the social game. We've already proven ourselves. We've already spent decades showing up to things we didn't want to go to just to be polite. And at some point, you realize you don't owe anyone that anymore. You don't need to explain why you're riding alone. You don't need to justify why you don't want to join the group ride. You don't need to apologize for doing things your way. Because here's the truth. Riding alone isn't about avoiding people. It's about choosing yourself. It's about saying, today I'm going to do exactly what I want, at the pace I want, for no other reason than because it makes me happy. And that kind of freedom, you can't buy it. You can't fake it. You can only earn it by living long enough to stop giving a damn what anyone thinks. There's a huge difference between being alone and being lonely. Lonely is when you're surrounded by people and still feel disconnected. Lonely is when you're in a group ride and realize nobody actually cares about the ride. They just care about being seen. Alone is when you're by yourself and you're exactly where you want to be. Older riders understand this distinction. Younger riders don't yet. When you're young, you think being alone means something's wrong. You think if you're not constantly surrounded by people, you're missing out. But as you age, you realize the opposite is true. The moments you remember most are the quiet ones. The solo rides where you saw something beautiful. The empty road at dawn. The time you pulled over just to sit on a rock and think. Not the group ride where everyone stopped at the same gas station and argued about who's buying lunch. And here's the thing. When you ride alone, you appreciate people more when you are around them. Because you're not burned out. You're not drained from managing social dynamics all day. You're not performing. You're recharged. And that makes you a better husband, a better father, a better friend. Because you've given yourself the space to be yourself first. Solo riding teaches you things group rides never will. It teaches you self-reliance, because if something goes wrong, you're the one fixing it. No one's coming to rescue you. It teaches you patience, because you're not rushing to keep up with anyone. You're riding at the speed that's right for you. It teaches you to trust yourself, because every decision, which road to take, when to stop, how fast to go, is yours alone. And over time, that builds confidence. Real confidence. Not the fake kind where you need someone else to tell you you're doing a good job. The kind where you know you can handle whatever comes your way. I'll give you an example. Last summer, I took a solo ride through Wyoming. Beautiful roads. No plan, just picked a direction and went. About 100 miles in, my bike started making a weird noise. Nothing catastrophic, but something wasn't right. I pulled over, diagnosed it, tightened a loose bolt, got back on. 10 years ago, I would have panicked. I would have called someone. I would have needed help. But I didn't. Because I've spent enough time alone on a bike to know I can figure it out. That's what solitude gives you. It strips away the safety net. It forces you to trust yourself. And once you do, everything else gets easier. So here's the truth. The real reason older riders seek solitude. It's not because we're antisocial. It's not because we're bitter or jaded or think we're better than everyone else. It's because we finally learned what motorcycling is actually about. It's not about speed. It's not about performance. It's not about having the loudest bike or the most followers on Instagram. It's about connection. Connection to the road. Connection to the machine. Connection to yourself. And you can't have that connection when you're distracted by a group, when you're worried about keeping pace, when you're performing for someone else. You only get it in solitude, when it's just you and the bike and the world around you. That's when you feel it. That's when you understand why you ride in the first place. And once you feel that, you can't go back. You don't want to. Because that feeling, that clarity, that peace, that freedom, is what you've been chasing your entire life, and you finally found it. Not in a crowd, not in a group ride, not in someone else's approval, but in the quiet moments, the solo rides, the times when nobody's watching. That's where the magic is. And if you're an older rider reading this right now, you already know I'm right. Look, I'm not telling you to never ride with anyone again. I'm not saying group rides are bad or that younger riders are doing it wrong. I'm just saying there comes a point in your riding life when you realize you don't need the noise anymore. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to belong to a club. You don't need anyone's permission to do what you love. You just need the road, the bike, and yourself. And if that makes you a loner in someone else's eyes, so be it. Because you know the truth. You're not running from people. You're running towards something better. Clarity, peace, freedom, connection. And you can't find that in a crowd. So here's my question for you. When was the last time you took a solo ride? Not because you had to, but because you wanted to. And if it's been a while, what's stopping you? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if this resonated with you, hit that like button. Share it with another rider who gets it. Subscribe if you want more real talk about motorcycles and life. And don't forget, click that link in the description to get 58% off NordVPN. $5 a month. Your privacy matters. Thanks for riding with me today. I'll see you on the next one. And remember, the best rides are the ones nobody sees.